Welcome back to the We Get to Do This podcast. I'm Kaylee.
And I'm Jacob. This is the show for anyone chasing something hard, where we turn I have to into we get to.
With real, relatable, and resourceful conversations on business, training, recovery, wellness, and mindset. Let's get into it.
We are back for another run coaching inside a run coaching call. This is the athlete Jacob again with my coach Matt. Still working with him. It's been a while. And it's going to be a 2-part series. This one's going to take us to Chisago 70.3 Triathlon. And you can expect more post that as we kind of build for my fall races as well. But we're going to split it up so that you get a couple before Chisago 70. So if you've been wondering how my training's been going the last couple months, go ahead, buckle up, listen to this pod. We're going to go into life updates first. We also get to hear about Matt's fun adventure on a tandem bike that he took with a buddy to a race. And then he won it. I thought that was kind of funny and wild. And then we get into more serious training stuff. So then we get into running mechanics. We went into VO2 max on this one. I argued with Matt over why treadmills are so awesome a little bit. It was a creative discussion. And we went into being too healed to suffer properly for a race. You'll have to just listen to that part. And then I kind of lay out the summer and training and where we're going before part 2 of this series, which comes out as well this week, in which that one's a little bit more specific to the try. This one kind of gives a little bit more of a broad opening and understanding of like, okay, heading into the summer, where's Jacob at? Lots of ground to cover, lots of stuff to recap. Let's get into it. Part 1 of the coaching series. Enjoy, y'all. We get to do this. Yeah, it'll be great. Let's hear about this outfit you got going on.
Okay, so I got, for those that know, this is a Weeblos hat. For the Cub Scout, Boy Scout crew, this is like the in-between group of boys. It's pretty sick. It's a vibe. I got these sunglasses, these like light lens sunglasses are very in right now. So
They
pretty
are.
cool. And then I'll show you my Carhartt fit. I got my Carhartts on.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm a social worker. I'm not a blue collar guy, but I love me some Carhartts.
Forget that it's only, I always forget you're 2 hours behind. So when I'm talking to you, it's like, you got the whole night. I have a client who's in Boston 2 hours ahead. So when I talk to him at like 5, it's like, completely different vibe.
Yeah, dude. Both. Yeah. I have a client in Alaska. So that's even farther.
What's the time change on that?
I think it's 1 hour less than me. He's in Anchorage.
So it's like 4 there right now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Exactly. So
Hey.
yeah, you got to keep it all straight. That's for sure. Dude, it's good to freaking see you, my guy. Dang.
Yeah, I feel we haven't talked in a while.
All right. It's been a minute. You're like glowing, dude.
Thank you. I got married, so that's pretty.
Yeah. Congratulations.
I heard.
I did hear. I saw a few posts.
So that was great. We recorded 2 podcasts around it. So,
Wow.
if you're listening right now, go check those out. They're fucking sick. Best day of my life. Best 2 weeks of my life. Bachelor party, wedding, birthday, her
Literally.
birthday, honeymoon.
Yeah, okay, that's actually the most insane 2 weeks I've ever heard of, is that both of your birthdays were in that 2-week period. You did your bachelor party that close to the wedding, which is crazy.
And bachelorette.
And
She had her
bachelorette.
bachelorette party the weekend prior too. Yeah.
Insane. And then you had your wedding, and then you guys went on your honeymoon after that.
Yeah. But we peaked. So it's all downhill now.
You guys have to be like, your nervous system has to be just like so excited to just chill.
Yeah. Both of us are kind of going through it stomach wise. We're not like sick. I got sick again, but I got kind of over it quick, which is good. But definitely had some kind of, I don't know if it was from ice or something that I drank or food. I don't know. It was a classic, like in Mexico story, you get some type of pooping your pants situation. I only threw up once, so that's good.
Yeah. But I've never heard the ice being the culprit for stomach issues.
Well, yeah, who knows what happened? I also ate a lot of food. So
Yeah.
like even just like the fact that I ate more than normal could be part of it, you know? The
And it
heat,
was
there's
like,
probably a lot of things.
and it was hot, right? Hot and humid.
Hot as balls, super hot, yeah. But
I,
you're not supposed to drink water there, similar to like other countries when you travel. You're supposed to only drink it from like the bottles, you know? And supposedly ice in drinks at like restaurants and even the water that they use, we don't know if it's like you don't know. There's no way of proving where that comes from, right, or something. I don't know. That's just what I've heard. So you're supposed to like do sparkling water with no ice when you go out, and I
interesting.
didn't do that the whole time. So, but I mean, who knows? They got like water jugs there too, and stuff. Like, it's just so.
Yeah, there's no way you
It's-
can be perfect, right? It's just like an unfortunate draw of the cards. I
right.
imagine point that you get some type of contamination, something at some point. You
Yeah.
know,
So
that
who knows?
yeah.
But yeah, it was yeah. I recommend the bachelor party the weekend before, and I recommend the honeymoon right after. It was
Do you really?
I loved it. Yeah, I just took off like 2.5 weeks of work basically.
Yeah. I
Or I
think
did my classes, but so I just did it
and
all in one go.
what about the like fatigue on the body? Because I imagine you weren't really dialed as an athlete for your bachelor party.
Hey, I actually that Friday I ran 9 miles, and that Saturday I ran just under 8, and then I took Sunday off. I've still been hitting 40-mile weeks.
Dude,
So
that's
like yeah.
actually maybe the most impressive thing out of all of this.
Yeah, I just haven't done any long runs. That's not true either. Actually, I did like 14 the week of the wedding on Wednesday. So like,
Who was
and it was on trail, so it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes too. So that's not even true, I guess. But I think the mindset because of the mindset going into it was the focus isn't really on being an athlete. I kind of like and like whatever I did was just bonus. I think that helped. Um, so yeah, just kind of let go of it for, a little bit. I also, relatively speaking, I drank a lot, but I didn't, I mean, I got pretty drunk, but it wasn't like I was reverting back to like college days, I guess. Like
Yeah.
I never threw up from drinking across, because I had my buddy's bachelor party too, like 2 weeks prior to mine. I never threw up across all of them.
Okay.
I never,
Not on your
which
wedding day.
sounds like a weird flex, I guess, but I don't know. My stomach isn't amazing. In college, I threw up like every weekend when I drank. So, um,
Dude, what were you drinking?
that's a whole
Just
different thing.
or clear?
I was just a puker, man. I was just a puker. Like there were two of us in our friend group. I mean, I'm sure you had some, my older
Dude,
brother was like that too. We would like, dude, we wouldn't even drink that much sometimes and be puking. Like,
there was this thing that we would do at the University of Portland. So I was just there for 1 year, but it was a tradition at the University of Portland after nationals. They do something called the Century Club, and that is taking a shot of beer every minute for 100 minutes. And if you're able to successfully do that, then right, you join the Century Club. Right, it's like a big deal. The year that I did it, there was a freshman that threw up after 7 shots of beer. 7.
what?
Right? That's like no, I don't think that's even a beer. And he
That's
threw up.
wild.
So
Wow.
so that's a puker. I've known him. I've seen him.
Well, I
I've
never
smelled.
had the issue actually, typically, unless I really drank, I never had the issue during. It was always the next day. Usually for me, usually.
Next
I would
day?
just get like super hungover from like,
Yeah.
or I had friends that could like drink double the amount and then be fine.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
How
Damn.
far did you make it in the Century Club? Did you make it to 100?
No, I think I cut it off at like 55. I was
Nice. We
fine.
did
I was
that.
totally fine to not progress any longer.
100's a long. We did an hour once. To
Oh my
Big
God.
Booty
With beer?
Mix. That's pretty lit. Yeah, with beer.
Yeah,
Same exact thing. Yeah.
that year, 7 people made it to the Century Club,
That's so
which
much.
is insane to think about.
That's a
And of course,
lot.
everyone was wrecked, right? Like, it wasn't a pretty sight. It wasn't sexy. It was not. Like, you're, like, pushing your body in a very different way than, like,
Yeah.
running. You're still, like, stretching your limit, and I think there is a lot of
I think another good general rule of thumb that I've started to abide by more and more. I wasn't perfect with this, but I still like kept in the back of my mind was just trying to limit hard liquor, and if not, just don't do any. I think that helps
Yep.
immensely
I
versus
think
what
it
I
helps.
would do in college.
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
part of it, just because, you know,
Yeah, I think it's, like, shots and, like, really fruity drinks that just go down like water.
yeah, right. And then it takes longer for your body to realize what happened. Where like when you drink a beer, you feel it like in your, you know what I mean? Where if you drink a bunch of hard liquor, 10 minutes go by and then you're like, oh, that was a mistake. Now I feel awful, you know?
Yeah, and all it takes is that one extra drink, right? It's always just that threshold. It's like you're on the line, dude. You're like, dude, things fucking great, dude. It's great. Whenever you're at that level, don't have any more,
Just
right?
stop.
Just
Stop.
stop. Stop drinking, have a little bit of water, and you'll be able to ride that for a while. But if you're feeling great and then you take a shot, dog,
Yeah.
it's
Well, and that's the other thing. Once you take the shot, you can't go back.
you
Right?
can't go.
A beer, you crack a beer open, you take a sip, and you're like, yeah, I'm good. You're good.
Yeah,
You don't have to drink the beer. But the
because I
shot,
feel like you usually know.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like you know, but yeah, you're right. Like you take a shot, and then I've been in that situation. I take the shot, and I'm like, oh fuck, that was problematic.
Not
That
not
was
the
that. This is gonna be an issue.
uh the other thing I needed to hear about, Kaylee wanted me to ask you about let's see. It was in the Google Calendar. All
Oh, my race.
I had two questions. Yeah. Two first place finishes. The question you won Orcas 25K and Orcas 50K. The question is, are we going to see Matt on trails more is it coming? And then the follow-up question, or you can tell us this part first. You rode a tandem bike there and your chain fell off. Is that right?
Well, this is true. Yes. Yeah. So me and a buddy did on Orcas Island. This was last weekend. 50K Saturday, 25K race Sunday. The 50K had about 7,400 feet of climbing. 25K had about 4,500. My Garmin had over 8,000 for the
That's a
50K
lot.
and just under 5,000 for that 25K. So it was a fuck. And I've never run an ultra before, right? And I usually don't race on trails. So that was already
Ultra? That was
that
your
was my
first.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So it was already going to be like kind of a lofty physical challenge, but knowing me, I'm like, that's not hard enough, right? It's like
Easy,
just a
bro.
walk target, 50K, 25K. It's not like I'm running 5-minute pace for a marathon, right? I'm not running like 8:40 pace. That's fine. So I was going to bike there, right? Me and my buddy were going to bike there. And then we were presented with the opportunity to take a tandem bike to Orcas Island. And where I live in Bellingham, it's like a 40-mile bike ride down to the ferry. And you have to take the ferry to Orcas Island. It's a part of the San Juan Islands. Incredible area of the country. Highly recommend. And then it's like a 20-mile ride from the ferry terminal to Doe Bay, which is where we were camping. And that was the start and finish for the race on both days. So yeah, we decided a tandem bike and we didn't test the bike out. My friend packed all the gear for us and he ended up packing probably like 75 pounds worth of gear, which is a little
Yeesh.
more for a tandem bike. So we were like weighed down. We ended up going clip-in pedals for some fucking reason.
That's
So we're
bold. You're putting a lot of trust in each other.
Insanely bold. And I was in back and I realized that I have some control issues because I felt very uncomfortable not having control of the bike. especially since, I've done all kinds of bike tours before and I'm just so comfortable in that cockpit. But I'm just like in back, just like staring at my friend's ass the whole time. And yeah, he had complete control. It was very like wobbly with all the weight and it was very slow going. And we got about 17 miles in, it started to pour rain, and then we snapped our chain. Like it literally just like we snapped the chain off. And we
So
didn't
chain no longer exists.
chain no longer exists. So bike no longer able to propel forward. That's a problem. And we didn't have the right tools, to kind of finagle things. We were probably about 20 miles away from a city that had a bike shop. So, and we were like in the pouring rain trying to like figure this out. And it was like coming down. We are so sad. And we're like calling all of our friends to like see if somebody can like bring a chain for us or give us a lift. Nobody's answering their phone, or people are like, sorry, I can't help. And we're like, what the heck? And then we had this guy, John, stop in his pickup truck. And then he drove us like 7 miles to this other road. That was dope. And we were able to put like the whole tandem bike in his truck, which is cool. And then we got another lift from this guy, Peter, who was just stoked to help out. And then so we got another hitch ride to the bike shop in Anacortes. We were able to get the chain replaced. But then we got a brand new chain on like an old tandem bike with a very like used cog. So then like our last stretch on Orcas Island, the last 20 miles, our chain was just slipping like the whole time, like not landing in gears, because the chain was just too nice. So it ended up being like a really frustrating ride. We got to the campsite at like 10:15 at night, pouring rain, set up camp, woke up the next morning, and then won a 50K. So pretty cool.
So how much sleep did you get?
Maybe 6 hours.
What a flex. How many miles total was it, you said?
Well, it ended up being like 60 miles from Bellingham, but it ended up being probably like 45 total. Because we hitched people around.
Still.
But it ended up taking us probably close to 4 hours of riding time. So we're like slow, really, really slow. Like we were going like 4 miles per hour up hills. So it was just frustrating as all hell.
So you would do it again?
Honestly, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was an experience. Yeah, I'm feeling a little sore this week, but better than expected. And that 25K race actually felt better than expected after the 50K. So I think ultras are in my future for sure. Trails are definitely in my future. I will be running the JFK 50 miler in November this year. And I have a really cool season this fall because I'm doing Twin Cities. First weekend in October, I'll try to hit my OTQ there. And then a week later, I'm doing the Victoria Marathon in British Columbia on Vancouver Island to have some back-to-back, weekends. That'll be challenging. And then like 6 weeks after that, I think is JFK 50. And then I'll absolutely send it at JFK.
I don't know anything about that race. Is that a road race or trail?
So that's like the first 16 miles are on the Appalachian Trail. Pretty techy and kind of slow. And then the next 34 miles are on road.
So, okay. So like if we put you just assuming, for the 34 miles especially, what kind of pace in your head do you think you can run for that? Like, what do you think you can sustain? Is it relatively similar to your marathon pace?
No, I'd be a lot slower.
What's a lot?
20
seconds. 20 seconds.
Yeah. I think like Hans Hoyer won last year. He's kind of like one of the hottest ultra runners right now.
We got to see him finish at Black Canyon when we were there.
Really?
In February.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's an absolute baller. So I think
he eats a lot of just fucking dollar bread.
For sure.
He used to.
He crushes it, and he runs like 160 miles a week. I think he averaged like 5:30s in that section for that like 34 miles and like 6:30s for the road or the trail section. So I feel like I want to try that. I want to just try to send it and, be competitive up front, maybe go for the course record. I feel like I'm either going to blow up or it's going to go really well. And I would rather like give myself that shot, like, and see what comes of it. I think my hope is that I'll be in like 213, 214 shape by Twin Cities. And I don't think there's many other people who have ran JFK 50 miler or are going to run it this year that would have that type of fitness. So it would be really dependent on like my muscle tissue and my pacing and my fueling to kind of like pull me through the rest of, that race. So yeah, we'll see. It'll be a fun challenge. That's for sure. And then it's a huge race. So that would really boost, I think, my visibility in the sport. And then that would maybe put me on the same playing field as Mr. Charlie Lawrence. So I'd love to get back to competing with my boy Charlie. So
I can see it now. Charlie Lawrence, Mark Dowdle, Matt Welch, 1v1,
1v1. Oh gosh, geez Louise.
Play to 100 grand.
Yeah, I think right now I'd probably be the first to drop, but Charlie's in good shape. He's doing the Comrades Marathon coming up.
He is in good shape, but Mark Dowdle is psycho. So that's the thing, though. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, he is like, he's got this switch where you watch him and you listen to him talk and you're like, yeah, I don't have that. And like, I can trade my mental strength all I want, but he's able to like go to this dark place and it's wild listening to him talk.
Dude, you're too healed. I'm telling you.
I'm too healed.
No, you're way too healed, dude.
Gone to therapy way too much. That was the mistake.
Literally. No, actually, there's a weird part of me that actually does believe that. Like,
no, 1000%. Running got harder once I got happier. For sure.
For sure. Yeah. You're just like, you don't need to push yourself that hard. Like, it's not directly connected to your identity, right? You're so well balanced. You like yourself as a human being. And when you don't, then it's like, oh, fuck. Like, the only thing I have is my ability to push myself and suffer. Right. So I need this. Right. Yeah. So I think maybe a handful of people can balance it and be very healed and not, struggle with that. But I think that's why we see across the board with like professional athletes struggling with identity issues on the other side of sport. I think that's a big part of it. So yeah. Dude, but let's talk about
wait, hold on. I have one more question. That's actually relative to me anyways.
You're gonna ask me a question.
I've been asked myself a question here. I'm going to answer it. Uphill running, specifically like mountain running. Why? Like when I watch you do it, and someone might say the same thing about me on a different level for sure. So because I've definitely gotten better at like running up hills. You make it look so easy. And I get that I only see like Instagram, and Strava and whatnot. You make it look so easy. Do you think that comes from directly training hills, or do you think that is like David Roche would just say that's power, right? So if you just increase your power, it's the same thing whether you're going up or down or flat, right? Or like where do you think that comes from for yourself, for me? Does it make sense?
It does.
I wanted to ask you that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to unpack there. A lot of what I know about like uphill running is you're a better uphill runner if you have a higher VO2 max, right? And vice versa. So the more you can increase your VO2 max, the easier it will be. And the more you're able to push your body uphill, right? And the faster that should be. So I think there's a pretty clear connection between the two. So I think that's big. And I have a pretty high VO2 max and always have. I think there is an element of like your physical size, right? So if you're like a lighter runner, like it's just easier for you to climb uphill, right? You're just not carrying as much mass, and the weight and gravity is not working against you in the same way. Whereas it might be reverse, right? If you're, doing downhill running, that could be like very
Oh,
crude. That could be crude physics. Maybe physics wasn't my like best subject, but I think in my observations, right, it's a lot of these small guys are able to climb in ways that big guys are not able to climb. And big guys, they're if it's like flat and fast, like they can descend in a pretty profound way. Um, and it might be similar to like the Tour de France, where you have these tiny guys, are insane climbers, and these power horses are good time trialers. So I think, yeah, those are some big things. And then, yeah, I think the more you do something, the better you get at it. So the more you do hills, the more you run hills, I think the better you're going to get at it. And I think you're going to train your mechanics to also be more efficient at climbing uphill. And I think mechanics are a pretty big part of it. Like, I think running uphill, like, I think your cadence should be faster than you think it is. And I think that'll like sustain your efficiency and manage your effort, I think, over the course of like, especially like a long hill climb. And actually, like for me, I think about like a tighter, lighter arm carry, actually, to kind of help with the cadence. I think people don't often know that, right? Your legs are often doing what your arms are doing, right? So like if you really want to control your cadence, like tighten things up a little bit, right? Not like tighten your shoulders, but like bring your arms up and then light fast, right? And then your legs are going to follow that. But if you're sprinting, right, then get that like 90-degree like pump action, right? But I think, yeah, for these like long endurance climbs, like light, fast, and quick. And then I think, yeah, the last part is the force that maybe David Roach talks about, which I would think is directly related to ground contact time. So just the quicker you can get your foot off the ground, the faster you should be going, right? And the less wasted energy going into the ground, right? So does that make sense? Does that seem
yeah.
accurate? Okay.
My mind on uphill running has changed a lot. And I'm excited about my what's the word? I'm blanking. Entrance to the ultra world
Yeah,
myself.
for sure. Yeah,
Debut.
yeah, yeah.
And
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty stoked for it.
And I think the last thing that I'll say about like uphill running is as it relates to training, I think for a long time, especially in the like American distance running world, like we just didn't train hills that much. Right? It
It's
was just
insane.
like all track. Like we just love running fast and hard and like VO2 max workouts on the track. I don't know what it is about Americans, but we're fucking sick in the head because we just love to just do the hardest workouts all the time. But I think like historically, um, like I think of Jim Ryan, right? The amount of hills that Jim Ryan did, like that was so much a part of his training, or Gary Bjorklund, from like my neck of the woods up in Duluth, Minnesota. He went to Proctor. I also went to Proctor High School. Yeah, did a ton of hills throughout his career. Um, and now you're seeing this resurgence of like uphill tempos, which actually Ryan Hall used to do a lot back when he was like, the GOAT in the US for marathon running. And you'll see, yeah, a lot of these elite marathoners right now doing 5 to 7 mile uphill tempos at a pretty nice clip. And I think, yeah, we're seeing people perform better because of workouts like that.
Yeah. So for anyone listening, when we're talking about like hills right now, we're specifically talking more about longer duration running up hills, not sprints. Not that those aren't important, but for that's for a different reason. And I will say that in training for the next 5 months or whatever, however you think this makes sense, we need to for sure keep the uphill
Yeah.
tempos. I think that in the spring, I attribute my success this year to three things. I think the three biggest things were, well, four things. One, I think last year specifically, the training that we did really like hit this year. I think two, working with Zach Martin,
Mm-hmm.
my personal trainer. His episode drops in like 2 weeks too, by the way.
Hey.
Changed the game. I learned a lot. I've learned immensely from him, but it's changed the game to the way I approach the weight room, and that's the conversation for another time. But that was huge. And the other two things are swimming, which we talked about, and then lastly the uphill workouts, because they're so easy on the body. Like I felt like I could recover from them so much differently than like 60 minutes of quality speed work, but they're
Mm-hmm.
so hard when you're doing them, but like in a different, just mental, and like your heart rate's at like your threshold zone damn near, but it does not feel like, yeah. So huge fan of the uphill. And
Yeah.
I've given that to only one client so far
Yeah.
myself. Um, but I'm going to be giving that to more. I think in 2 years, we'll see everyone doing those for sure.
Yeah. I think that,
If
yeah.
that's fair.
Yeah. I think it's huge. I think the challenge that people have with it is you have to go slow, right? You're not ripping
Yeah.
fast, right? And the best way to do it is on a treadmill.
Mhm.
Myself, I hate treadmills. So
No, I love the
yeah,
treadmill.
I
So
know I
sad.
have to get over that.
Love
I'm definitely one of the like people who, if I just would.
the treadmill is so baller, dude. Especially if you have a good treadmill. If you have access to like a Woodway, dude. The
No, that's
controlled
fun to pump for
stimulus
sure.
you get, unreal.
Yeah. I think it's I think it's a tool. I think in kind of our modern world, like you see, I think people lean a little too much on because
Yeah, I probably
again,
do.
it's too easy to measure, right? And it's just not realistic. Um, it's the reality is your pace is going to adjust throughout a rep. It's going to adjust throughout a race. There's going to be weather issues. There's going to be footwear issues. There's going to be all these variables that will occur outside that you are able to control on a treadmill. And I'm curious what you would think as like somebody, a personal trainer and somebody who knows a lot about biomechanics. Is I don't think you're utilizing your glutes and hamstrings in the same way because you're not really like propelling yourself forward. I feel like it's like a half utilization of that like backside chain because the like treadmill is already like halfway down for your push off. So it's not like a full extension, I feel. I don't know if that makes sense, but just because
Yeah,
it's a belt.
yeah.
So it's more like you're just in one location, propelling yourself to like maintain this singular position rather than like propelling yourself forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's like you're saying, I think it's a tool. I mean, well, first of all, that's part of the reason I like running at 1%. I know you sometimes prescribe 0.5. I pretty much always do 1%. I don't usually do higher than that, but I do that for that reason. Um, I, I don't know. I'm gonna speak a little anecdotally. I don't think it would make as much of a difference to matter a whole lot, at least for like, no, I think just, yeah, end it there. I think that in general, maybe this isn't the right comparison. It's almost like using a machine in the weight room versus like free weights in a sense, it's just more controlled. It doesn't mean that it's not going to make you better depending on what you're using it for. I, to be like devil's advocate, and I'm kind of opposite of you, which I think we need to like meet in the middle because part of it's a safety thing too. Like I like the comfortability. Speaking of comfort crisis, I just read that book. I like the
Dude.
comfortability of the treadmill, right?
Yeah.
I perform better a lot of times on it because of how comfortable it is. But I totally agree with like being able to adapt to whatever stimulus because race day you're not going to be on a treadmill. I totally understand that. If you are going through a block in which you want to purely focus on increasing, say your VO2 max, your threshold, or get the exact stimulus without going too fast or too slow, that's where I think the treadmill is super beneficial, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
there's no, I mean, basically what you just said why you should run outside so you get the fluctuations so that on race day you're ready for that. It's almost, to me, it's like you can train that in the last 2 to 4 weeks before a race, in a
Mhm.
sense, especially if it's hot as nuts or cold as hell outside, right?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's, yeah, I think I'm, you know,
Yeah.
I think I see both ways for sure.
Yeah.
Uh,
And yeah, and I do definitely think like the tool is necessary if you're running year round, particularly in Minnesota, right? Like I
mhm.
think you have to be capable and able to run treadmill workouts and to feel okay with it. Because I do think you sacrifice a little bit if you are like me and will force yourself to go outside to do a hard VO2 max workout and it's 20 below zero with 6 inches of snow on the ground. Like there's so many more risks associated with that. And you might have that mental edge of doing it, but physically it's probably not beneficial.
Right, and that's the question, right? Like, if it's 90 degrees outside and you're prescribed a 7-minute pace, like 5 by 5 minutes or something, and physically you have to drop to maybe even like 8 pace, but your heart rate's the same as it would be at that 7 pace. I'm not fully convinced that that's the same stimulus. I think you're more so just fucking your body up at that point, right? And that's maybe an extreme,
Sure, sure,
but
sure, sure.
so
Yeah. Yeah, and of course, it's like never yeah, it's always like, yeah, what works for that individual? And again, like, where does it make sense to apply a tool like that?
yeah,
You know? And it's
and it
never
for sure makes sense for uphill running because you're not
for
finding a
sure.
40-minute uphill climb in Minnesota.
I think it'd be pretty difficult to find one. That's for sure.
Uh, cool. Cool.
Okay, so
Uh,
this is
well,
this is what you got.
yeah, I wrote this all out because I was bored on the plane.
Uh,
Um, I mean, here's kind of the thing, upcoming races. And I mean, first of all, I love how I feel right now. So I think that's a win.
Huge win.
I don't really have any time goals. I'm still like, let's go PRTCM. In my mind, I'm like, let's go for sub 3. Like, why
Mhm.
not? Obviously. So, after running that half, I'm like, okay, now 290s back to back
Yeah,
seem
dude,
realistic. And
for
worst
sure.
case, a 90 and a 95, and you get 305, and it's a 5-minute PR. Like, so
Nah, dude.
I
Nah,
think that'd
dude.
be pretty baller. Getting, yeah, just ripping TCM. Especially since too, that was my first 2 marathons, and my TCM PR right now is 4:15. So I think that'd just be
Bro,
kind of special.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
And with hills again, I personally think I do pretty well on hills. So I'm not like, and I think TCM gets a little bit of a bad rep for that, but I also haven't ran it in like 5, 6 years.
I
So
mean,
it might
genuinely,
be,
I think if you're well trained and you're fueling properly, the climb up summit at the end shouldn't be as difficult as people make it out to be, right?
yeah,
Right. And that's
right,
really the only climb. Like
yeah,
everything, it's actually really fast outside of that.
yeah, right.
So,
So yeah, yeah. So I mean, that's the biggest. That's really like my only time goal. Otherwise, that's I'm very intrigued to see what my body can handle volume wise this year. It's part of why I'm really excited about Javelina. Um,
yeah,
so like it's mainly like process goals and that yeah, sub 3 for TCM as the kind of goals that I have right now. I'm like 100 miles behind what I was at last year at this point with mileage, but with May and everything, and even June and the way that it's going to shake out, it's fine. July, August, and September, I think we'll be able to, put some wicked miles in.
absolutely.
So that's my kind of my thought process on
How are you
those
feeling
things.
about the half Ironman in July?
Very relaxed. Yeah, I think because I have no goal, that's to me, I look at that as like a big training day almost. Of I plan on sending it. Like I'm not, I'm going to swim as hard as I can. I'm going to bike as hard as I can. And I would like to run 7 to 7:15, 6:50 pace even, but I could be very ignorant to how hard that's going to be off the bike. I have
Yeah.
no idea. So, and
Yeah.
I have no problem with running the first 3, 5, whatever at, 6:55 and just blowing up and running, you know, I have no problem with that. That's
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
fine to me. I want to just like go have fun and see, and push and see what happens. And I think it's also good practice for fueling because it's going to take me, 5+ hours. So I think that's really going to be the closest I'll get duration wise in one go, I assume. Just if it's like 6 or 7 hours to do this try to what the 100K will take. Unless you, I mean,
Absolutely.
unless you
No.
think I'm
No,
going to
no,
do
no,
a,
no, no. I'm not going to put you in a position to be on your feet that long. I don't think. I don't think
yeah.
that's necessary.
So I think it's a good opportunity to just practice fueling for that long too and see what my gut can take. Um,
Yeah, and I
so
think
yeah, but
that
I'm pretty relaxed about it.
and I think that honestly will probably be harder than the 100K.
You
When
think so?
I think
I'm
so.
also pretty
Because
relaxed about the 100K too. I think both of them I'm going into a little more, not relaxed, but like, and I guess ignorance the word to how hard they're going to be. But I just know how hard TCM is going to be. So like that is what my brain, I
yeah,
just know I know that feeling.
I think the ignorance going into both of those will be beneficial to you.
Yeah.
But I think the high half Ironman, why I think that's gonna be the more challenging is it's gonna be in the Midwest in July. I think you're probably gonna have, like, a crazy hot, humid day, which you would not likely have at Javelina. Um, it would be dry heat, and it's late in the year, so I think it just would not be the same. Um, and then I think you've just gotten you're stacking so many years of running now that I think just moving in that, like, sagittal plane is, like, easy for you, and I think, like, swimming is gonna add a different layer, but I actually think I guess, biking's still on a sagittal plane too, but I think just the volume on that bike at a certain level that, like, although you maybe don't have specific goals for it, but I think you're gonna try to, like, do the best you can on the bike, and that fucks you up, dude. It's gonna be hard. And it's gonna be hard to fuel on the bike. Like, to just do the transitions, it's gonna require so much more thinking during a hard effort than you would at any other race, I feel, So
Bring it on.
I'm very curious about how you're gonna manage it.
Yeah. It'll be fun to recap that for sure, especially after this combo.
Can't
Um,
wait. Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm excited because I have some things here that are gonna push me differently this year, for sure.
And I think
In
that's just
in
gonna make you
really good
better.
ways. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're just gonna continue to get better, actually because of a block like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I think we're going on an SHT trip, actually. I should put that on here.
Ooh.
The week right after Chisago, and we'll do 10 miles Friday, 20 miles Saturday, and
Ooh,
then 10 miles Sunday, all on the SHT too. So that'll be good.
ooh, that's gonna be great. Yeah, and I
Yeah, ton
think
of volume.
we'll have to do, we'll talk as we approach, like, the specific marathon build for TCM, but I'll probably want to do at least some weekends where there's gonna be some trail long runs in addition to, like, a marathon specific long run. Because
Let's do it.
for sure, I want you to, excel and crush TCM, but I think it's still important that you're preparing your body for the 100K, you know, 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
So,
So
and I
that'd be
think
like,
yeah, go ahead. Um, I think you can do both, and I don't think you would sacrifice preparing for a marathon, but I think it just has to be intentionally placed. And again, that would just be more like back-to-back long run efforts. Um, where you have, like, what I would probably do is I'd probably do, like, a marathon specific long run on a Saturday, and then do 15 to 16 miles of trail running on a Sunday. Will be like fatigued legs running on trails where you're going to have to fuel, and that effort is going to be over 2 hours, right? And the hope is that you're in a place of fitness and your body is resilient enough that wouldn't, put you in a position to risk injury. That is just going to allow for, you know, um, to build just more durability for your body over the long.
I like it. I dig it. That sounds
Hell yeah.
good.
Great.
The other thing is, I don't know if I texted you, and I don't know if I'm ready for this or what you think,
Okay.
but do we think that? So I'm planning on running 3:30 pace next Saturday at Grandma's with Kaylee.
Great. Cool. Is that what she's shooting for?
That's her goal. Yeah. So
Awesome.
3:30.
What
Yeah.
a ball.
Yeah, she's fit. Do we think it's worth it for me to do like a big weekend, like extra on Sunday or extra on Friday to go into the marathon, or just do the marathon and then recalibrate after that?
Yeah. I think 3:30 is not going to be easy for you. Like it's not going to feel hard. Like I don't think it's going to be
That's what
your
I've been
edge,
telling Kaylee.
but I think it's going to be like not like comfortable the whole entire time. Like that's going to challenge you, and I think that's going to be plenty of stimulus for you. You're not going to need that anymore.
All right, cool. I'm down with that then.
Yeah. I do see the 5K listed. Is that something that you plan on doing then the day before?
Yeah, but I'll just shakeout run it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll just go into it like 3:30. Yeah, with 3:30 as the focus, and yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great. And again, I think see that as another opportunity to practice fueling for a marathon. Because your fueling plan for Grandma's at 3:30 shouldn't be that far off your fueling plan that you'll have for TC. So again, I would just like prep yourself with the same product, have yourself, that same plan, and then just follow it diligently to have another opportunity to iron out some kinks before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. I did tell Kaylee, I was like, there is a chance that you drop me because I've done like 2 15-mile long runs. One of them was with her, and we did like 12 of it at 750 pace. It was like 3 up and then 12 at 750. So she's done a few 20s and 17. Like she's great. Or she's done 120 and a couple 17s. But I did tell her, I was like, I'm really going to be testing my theory of like, is an aerobic base, strength training, and fueling enough to get me through a marathon?
Yeah.
And I think it is. So I'm pretty stoked to do it. We'll find out.
Yeah. I think it will be too. I just think it'll be harder. Like it's not going to be a walk.
No. Yeah.
But I think it'll be really fun to do that, with your wife.
Yeah.
My wife.
Other than that, the only thing else I really got is I'm gonna lift Mondays and Thursdays still. If that's good with you.
Worse.
I laid it out here. Tuesdays I've got a gap now from 10 to 4, so I figured we could do speed. I'm gonna keep going to the Twin Cities Track Club.
Mm-hmm.
Group runs at 6 p.m. on Mondays because they're all really fast. I think that was also helpful. We're gonna do Wednesdays trails in the morning again, but I laid that out here. We can do doubles that day or whatever. I also was thinking about biking to work for my hour class I got to cover.
Okay.
Okay. And then, I think brick workouts for sure after Grandma's. I need to get some of those in. But do you think I need to do any like swim to runs?
No, or swim to bike.
Or sorry, swim to bike. That's what I meant. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. I think the bike to run will be the transition. That's going to be the hard one. I think just getting in enough swimming volume. I think if you're able to get in some open water swimming and ideally open water swimming with other people. The most jarring thing about like runner, cyclist trying a triathlon and not having maybe the swimming background is that you get like swam over, and there's just like feet everywhere, hands punching you. Like it's just chaos in the water as you're swimming.
Heard.
And you
That's
don't
why I'm
have
like most of it
space.
was for.
Yeah, so you just don't have space. It's hard to breathe. Like it's just like you get panicky. Like it's just like a terrifying experience unless you kind of practice that a little bit and put yourself in positions to like swim with other people and kind of adjust your breathing. It's just it's similar to like pool swimming is like running on a treadmill, and open water is like running outside. So it's like if you're working on mechanics, for sure, do pool swimming. You can do all these drills. It's awesome. It's perfect. But get outside if you're ready to like start prepping for what that experience will really be like.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I think the brick training will be definitely an important part after after grandma's. Sweet, dude. I'm stoked for you. This is gonna be quite the rest of 2026.
Yeah, I think it's gonna go great. I don't really have any. How long do I get to go this weekend? 7 days out from grandma's.
Oh,
Yeah, so don't need to have that answer right now if you don't have it.
I mean, I would say I don't think it's that super critical for you one way or the other. I mean, if you want like a decent one, I'd go up to 16 probably. If you want a little less than that, probably 13, 14 would be fine. But I don't see the point of you going higher than that.
I agree.
But I mean, it might be good to like throw in a little bit of marathon pace in there, just like it could be 1 by 3 miles or 2 by 2 miles at marathon pace, like that 3:30.
At like the 8 flat pace, the 3:30 pace.
Yeah, at the 3:30 pace. Yeah. Just to kind of incorporate that, right? So if you plan on going like easy for the rest of it. But I think it would be good to do, let's see, at least, probably like a workout next Tuesday, and just do like kind of like a threshold level workout just to like open up the legs a little bit. And then maybe a pretty light stride focused day on Thursday next week. And then,
Cool.
Yeah. What do you think of that?
I think it's great. This is going to be released after grandma's, so people will know how I did when they hear this.
Okay. All right, dude.
So,
Excellent.
Jacob, when you're listening to this, I hope it went well. I hope Kaylee fucking crushed it either way.
Yeah.
Whatever happens.
She's gonna run 3:27:28 is what I'm saying.
3:27:28.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, dude, you don't do 3 minutes faster by accident. It's not like you just run 3 minutes faster over the last 3 miles, even over the last 10K. You have to like make that decision at like 10 miles, which is bold if you're doing that.
And you know what? She is a bold woman. Okay, I think that's bold. And I'm gonna lock in that you're actually gonna run 3:29:15. She's gonna drop you in the last 5.
She's gonna, I can see it.
Yeah, you're just gonna be fried. Yeah. And then she's gonna be like, "Oh, Jake, can you come with me?" And you're like, "No, I don't got it.
Finish. I'm gonna try to get this. We have we've got a little group. There's 4 of us doing it all together, and it'd be PRs for if the other 3 do it, it'll be PRs, like and substantial PRs. So I'm hoping we can. My goal is 8:00. I'm getting some pacing practice in, so I'm gonna try my hardest to just hit 8s on the dot, which is hard. Turns out
it's really hard.
Paces exactly on the dot.
Yeah, don't run any 7:30. Just don't do that, okay?
I will not do that. All right, cool. Yeah. Thanks, dog.
Peace out, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Okay, peace.
That's a wrap. If you are new here, welcome. We're so glad you get to do this with us. Before you go, what's your we get to do this moment for the week? We'd love to hear it. comment on this episode or email us at wegettodothis@gmail.com.
And if this episode hit for you, share it with a friend and leave us a review on whatever platform you listened on. It genuinely helps. We get to do this.